This is going to be a special video for two reasons. One, I just woke up maybe 7 minutes ago and I feel like I might have had a download. And what was interesting in that download is I had some information that wasn't 100% novel, but I had a way to elevate that information and to reframe that information and to rename it into something that I just Googled doesn't exist. So the term I'm about to give you doesn't exist until now. This is a term that I am super proud of that I just created upon awakening. And the reason why it's important for you is because if you get the concept and understand the power behind it, you'll see what I see in this, that it's an absolute game changer in so many ways. That term is proactive emotional tagging. Proactive emotional tagging. And the way to remember it, pet. We all love our pets. We all love proactive emotional tagging. So my name is Dr. Jay Kavanaugh of the Vibe Mindset. I absolutely am addicted to my morning routine. My morning routine, which is where this little download, if you will, came from, is that I go to bed and I'm very conscious of the last final thoughts I have before I go to sleep. I make sure I'm in an elevated emotional state, not primed, not charged, but just either gratitude, appreciation, relaxed feelings, but certainly elevated ones, not ones in a state of lack. Then I find in the morning when I wake up, which is typically between 3:30 and 5, before I start to open my eyes, I start to just have this information come. And there's proof. If you watch my theta state video, there is proof that in the morning, when you're going through that theta state, there is a lot of creativity. All my ideas for the whole day come within less than a minute. I don't know how, I don't know why, I just know the facts, and this is what happens. Now let's talk about proactive emotional tagging. So I didn't want to overthink this, so I don't have note cards. I literally have been awake for minutes. That's how new this is. And so you're going to experience something cool with me today that I want to share with you, which is not just what proactive emotional tagging is, because I just came up with it literally minutes ago. However, the fact that you don't have to overanalyze things. And sometimes things just come to you, just let it flow. I'm giving you this video right now without overthinking, without planning, without mapping out all my typical note cards I often do. I'm just sharing with you thoughts that I know are powerful. Now, let's get into it. So we know, so what are the facts? What do we know? Well, what we know is one of the most powerful experiences in life is the fact that our emotions and the way that they relate to events and experience in our lives are linked. There's a link. So let's say, for example, something traumatic happened to you. You take that event and you link it with an emotion. And then what happens is that tag, that link, or what we're calling a tag in this instance, goes into your memory. The reason why? Well, it remembers some of the patterns. We talk about pattern recognition. It remembers some of the patterns of that event. Maybe it was a person, maybe it was a place, and then there's an emotional tag to it. Now, in the future, think about it. It's setting you up at the time. There are people that are dealing with some traumas today that are a result of experiences and the emotional tags they had from years in the past. However, understand that your brain is just trying to help you. I'm not saying that you're not going through pain. I'm not saying there's not struggles, but I'm saying understand what the process of the brain is doing, and it kind of offers you a little bit of freedom. At least for me, it does. And so let me explain. Your brain is looking to help become a better predictor of your future. It all goes back to the Neanderthal days, right? Your brain wants to know that, hey, if we go into a bush that looks like this, at this time of the year where the warmth is about like this, there's a good chance there's a spotted leopard in there. That kind of thing. So then what happens? There's an emotional tag. Fear, I almost got killed by a leopard. And then that event. Well, the temperature was about like this. The bush looked a bit like this. The area looked about that. Then it links a tag, throws it in your memory. Now all of a sudden you go to an area that kind of looks the same. The emotion gets fired because the pattern recognition, boom, recognizes it, fires off the same emotion. Now all of a sudden you're panicky before you get too close to that area, and then you're able to run away before you even see if there's a spotted leopard in there. You see the value in it. There's value. Your brain does this for a reason. Your brain's an amazing device. Not really a device, it's organic. So we won't call it a device. I scratched that and I'm not editing that. Your brain's a wonderful instrument that plays a role in that it's trying to basically guide you and help you to make better decisions. Okay, remember that. Better decisions. So that's going to play back into what we talk about here. Now, when we talk, so we know this information, we know there's value. Now, when we talk about proactive emotional tagging, what that means is being extremely conscious and aware of the tag that you're placing on an event or experience in your life in real time. And so let me give you an example. The other day, I had, and this wasn't some powerful, it doesn't have to, the more powerful the experience, the harder it's going to be proactive because you're caught up in the moment and you're reacting. You can't respond. But in those moments, so this is not about perfection. This is not about winning every time. This is not easy. But think about this. The other day, I placed meaning on an event. And so the meaning was this. I have a membership site and I said, wow, there's a lot of people posting in this one section, but they're not posting in this section about celebrating their wins. So if people aren't posting a lot and celebrating their wins, the meaning I placed out of my past experiences where my assumption came from, that I'm assuming that the emotion that I tagged to that is, well, I must be a failure. I must have failed. Because if I did my job in my membership site, shouldn't people be celebrating their wins? But then it was interesting because what happened next is some of the decisions I made were not to promote my membership site, not to talk to some people that were interested in it, not to talk to the people that wanted to promote it for me. I kind of started to disconnect. So I started to make decisions that pulled me away from the emotion of I failed and I'm uncomfortable and I'm kind of bummed because I really thought I had this, and I tied it to that event. So no wonder why I haven't been asking people to sign up. No wonder why I've been like, well, we're working on some things, hold off. I was basically self-sabotaging. Basically self-sabotaging for the last 2 weeks. Didn't even realize it until this morning. I started thinking about it and I said, wait a minute. What if I were to, now this would be more like a retroactive kind of revisiting of that. And I say, what if instead, at that time, I had placed a different emotional tag on the fact that people aren't posting in this area? What if instead I said, you know what? I have a lot of empaths that like what I do. What if an empath or someone who just doesn't want to offend anyone else or make anyone else feel in lack, what if people don't want to celebrate their wins because they don't want anyone to feel like they're not winning, but yet they are? And I was like, oh my God. And it resonated with me because I'm like, a lot of times I don't like celebrating my wins. Why? Because I don't want other people to feel bad. I'm like, are you kidding me? Personal wins, I don't want to sell. And then I found that this is a pattern with me. And so what I realized is that if I use this proactive emotional tagging, or if I had at the time, I could have said, okay, wait, what emotional tag am I placing? So step one, the awareness. What emotional tag am I feeling and placing on this experience and/or event? Hey, people aren't doing this action I want them to do. What's the meaning and the emotion associated with it? Because we have to talk about the word meaning as well, right? So it's an awareness of an emotion, the meaning and the perception, the lens that you're looking through, the perspective you're choosing of all the different perspectives you can have. I randomly chose, well, I wouldn't call it random, but I'm sure it was based on my past experiences and other patterns that matched up with this. I blamed myself. I'm the cause. I'm the failure. I'm the problem. And then the emotions attached to it were not good. Imagine if we all started proactively emotionally tagging. So what would that look like? Well, today, if someone says something to me or if something happens, I'm going to be very aware of the way I react and or respond to events and experiences in my life today. That's step one. Step two is when I start to feel an emotion and I start to be aware of the meaning I'm placing on that event or experience, I'm going to look at it as a ball. I'm literally in my mind going to view it as a ball. Now with a ball, the reason why I chose a ball is because with a ball, you can rotate it all these different ways and look at it in a different way. And let's say it's a round rock, just for a better example perhaps. One side of the rock looks like this, and it's round, but like one side might have a little more jagged edge. One edge might be smoother. One edge might have a dark, cool pattern. The other one might not have anything interesting to look at all. But either way, you get the point that when you think about like this ball analogy, I'm thinking like, what are all the different ways I can rotate this experience or this event and come up with a different meaning, a different label, and therefore a different emotional tag? And how can I be proactive about the emotional tag I place on this event? Why? Think about the power here. Think about the power. The power is that if there is a strong emotional negative, I don't want to say negative because emotions aren't negative. If there is a lower vibration emotional tag on an experience and event that I allow to go into my memory, allow to go in my mind, from now and forever, anything that looks, smells, tastes anything like it will trigger the same emotion. And then the cycle continues. And then it keeps feeding itself and it feeds itself and it builds strength and it builds neuronal connections. And then I got a problem. And I could potentially have a problem that could now at this point shift and change all the decisions I make that relate to that pattern in the future. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? Tell me how powerful it is. Tell me below, is it powerful? I feel it is, because now, today, and I can't wait to share with you kind of my experience with this, because I just came up with this literally not even at this point, probably a half hour ago. And I say to myself, wow, like what could my life be like? And I start to imagine, and I say, wow, imagine if I proactively emotionally tag emotions of gratitude and joy, and I shift my emotions, the meaning I place on things in a way that completely changes the memories and the patterns that I keep pulling up to recognize. What could that mean for my decision making in the future? What could it mean? It could mean a lot. It could mean a lot. I'm excited about this. Are you? I want to hear from you guys. Share your thoughts on this below. This is a completely new concept that I'm literally sharing with you virtually almost live here. Although if you watch this in 2 years, I guess it wouldn't really be considered live. But you're at least experiencing how I went through this. Realize that there's power in this, and emotions are huge. They guide us, and they steer. They're almost like the filter through which we look and make decisions in the future. That's the value of emotional experiences and the emotions we have on it. Is it guides us to make decisions, and hopefully the brain is thinking that it's making better decisions. But is it always? Are there some times where you place labels on things that are not really serving you well? Heck yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. I've got 2 other videos if you want to check them out, but I want to hear what you think about this below, because I'm kind of vibing and feeling this. But if you want to watch these 2 videos, feel free. Have a great day.